Married people. When did listening to your spouse lead to something completely unexpected? My wife Grace has this deeply annoying habit of eavesdropping on our neighbors through the paper-thin walls of our junky apartment. I'm always telling her to mind her own business and stop inserting herself into everyone else's drama. But last Tuesday, her nosiness straight up saved someone's life. She came sprinting into the kitchen while I was making coffee, breathless. "We need to call the police right now," she said, grabbing my arm. "Mrs. Park next door is in serious trouble." I rolled my eyes so hard I almost sprained something. Grace has always been dramatic about the neighbors. Just last month, she thought the couple upstairs were drug dealers. Nope, Etsy sellers. But this time felt different. She looked genuinely freaked out. "That wasn't Mrs. Park on the phone just now," she said. "It was a man pretending to be her, calling her bank about transferring money." I was ready to brush it off. Mrs. Park is this sweet 78-year-old Korean woman with 3 cats who brings us homemade kimchi and checks in on our moms. The idea that something shady was happening seemed ridiculous, until Grace pointed out we hadn't seen her in 3 days. And she was right. Mrs. Park never breaks routine. Every single morning at 7 a.m., she's out on the fire escape, rain or shine, watering her plants. "Her plants are bone dry," Grace said, dragging me to the window. "When's the last time you heard her over there?" I realized the usual background noise, TV, cat meows, her cooking, had been missing. Total silence for days. Grace begged me to check on her. I finally agreed, just to prove nothing was wrong. I knocked. No answer. Knocked harder. Still nothing. That's when I noticed a stack of untouched mail outside her door. Mrs. Park was religious about her mail. She'd get it before it even hit the floor. I called Bob, our grumpy building manager. The man hates being bothered, but even he looked worried when I explained. He came up with the master key and unlocked her door. Immediately, something felt off. No lights, no cooking smells. Her cats were crying and their food bowls were empty. We called out. Nothing. Then, this faint tapping noise from the bedroom. Bob and I looked at each other and rushed in. The sound was coming from inside the closet. We opened it and there she was, Mrs. Park, tied up with duct tape, barely conscious and completely dehydrated. She'd been trapped in there for nearly a week, surviving off a single bottle of water her captor left. I called 911. Bob untied her and gave her water. She could barely speak but whispered, "Danny, my nephew." Turns out her nephew had been gambling away his college fund and owed people big. He'd been forcing her to give up her bank info, calling her bank while pretending to be her. Then he locked her in the closet and kept coming back with groceries, just enough to keep her alive while he drained her accounts. The police set up surveillance, and 20 minutes later, Danny walked in with bags of food like he was just dropping by. Cops tackled him in the hallway. He looked stunned. Like, "Wait, you mean you're not allowed to kidnap your aunt and impersonate her?" Mrs. Park was hospitalized for 2 days, severely dehydrated, but miraculously, okay. The doctors said if we'd waited one more day, she probably wouldn't have made it. Danny had already stolen over $30,000, but the bank managed to reverse most of it since we caught him in time. He's now facing charges for kidnapping, elder abuse, fraud, the whole criminal buffet. When Mrs. Park got home, she hugged Grace for 5 straight minutes and sobbed, "You saved my life. You saved my life." So yeah, I used to complain about Grace being nosy. Now, I encourage it. Want to press your ear to the wall while pretending to fold laundry? Be my guest. You never know when being all up in someone's business might literally save them.